Repair Clinic encourages you to perform this procedure safely. In this video, we will show one or more of these icons to alert you when to use caution. Many refrigerator repairs or general maintenance will require some disassembly of the appliance. Before you attempt this, you should unplug the power cord. To access components like the compressor fan motor and overload, use a 1/4-inch socket or nut driver to unthread the screws securing the lower rear access panel. With the screws unthreaded, carefully remove the panel. If you need to remove the overload, use a flathead screwdriver to help detach the relay cover. Use the screwdriver to help pry off the relay. You can now slide off the overload and detach it from the wire. Reinstall or replace the compressor overload by first connecting the wire. Align the hole in the component with the pin on the compressor and push the overload into place. Do the same for the relay. Realign the cover and snap it into place. Now reposition the access panel and replace the screws to secure. To disassemble the water and ice dispenser, use a flathead screwdriver to help pry the dispenser panel and control board out from the bottom. Note the orientation of the wires connected to the board, then disconnect them. Now use a Phillips head screwdriver to unthread the screws, securing the chute assembly. Remove the assembly. To remove the dispenser actuator, note the orientation of the actuator spring and use needle nose pliers to move it out of the way. Now pull the retaining tabs back to release the actuator. When reinstalling the actuator, make sure the switch actuator arm is placed under the switch lever. Then snap the assembly into place behind the retaining tabs. Now correctly position the spring. With the wires extended over the chute assembly, reposition the assembly and replace the screws to secure. The larger screws go in the bottom. Reinstall the dispenser control board assembly by first reconnecting the wires to the appropriate terminals. Now align the top of the dispenser panel and snap the bottom into place. To access components within the ice bucket auger motor assembly, lift out the ice bucket and remove the shelf. Next, use a 1/4-inch socket or nut driver to remove the screws securing the auger motor assembly. Lift the motor assembly off of the mounting brackets and disconnect the wire connector to fully remove the assembly. To remove the ice maker, first release the tabs to disconnect the wire harness. Next, loosen the screws securing the ice maker assembly. Lift the assembly up to remove. Reinstall the ice maker by aligning the assembly on the mounting screws. Tighten the screws. Connect the wire harness. You can access the evaporator fan motor housing by removing any shelving blocking the fan cover. Now lift off the light cover and unthread the light bulb. Now remove the lower screws securing the fan cover. Loosen the upper screws. Lift the cover up and out to access the evaporator fan motor housing. When the repair is complete, realign the fan cover on the upper screws with the top edge positioned behind the ice maker. Slide the cover down into place. Tighten the upper screws and replace the lower ones. Rethread the light bulb. Replace the light cover. Reposition the upper shelving if applicable. Reinstall the auger motor assembly in the freezer by first connecting the wire connector. Reposition the assembly on the mounting brackets and replace the screws to secure. Slide the shelf and ice bucket back into place. To access components behind the freezer's rear panel, first remove the shelving and the lower drawer from the freezer compartment. Next, lift off the light cover and unthread the light bulb. Use a 1/4-inch socket or nut driver to remove the screws securing the rear panel. Detach the grounding wire. Then slide the panel up and pull the left side out to fully remove the panel. Reinstall the rear panel by positioning the right side first. Push the left side into place down behind the lower drawer rails. Attach the grounding wire to the panel. Fully align the panel and replace the screws. Rethread the light bulb and replace the light cover. Replace the lower drawer and shelving. For some repairs, or when moving the refrigerator through a tight space, you may need to remove one or both doors. If you're removing the freezer door, first pull off the lower grill. Release the water line from the retaining clip. Now depress the locking ring to disconnect the water line from the coupler. Slide off the insulator Now unthread the screw to release the hinge cover. Disconnect the dispenser wire connector if applicable. Use a 5/16" socket or nut driver to remove the screws, securing the hinge itself. Support the door as you remove the hinge. You can now lift the door off of the lower hinge pin and set it aside. Before you reinstall the door, we recommend applying some grease to the lower cam. When replacing the freezer door, first insert the water line through the hole in the hinge as you align the door on the lower hinge pin. Close the door, and if applicable, insert the dispenser wire connector through the upper hinge. Realign the hinge and rethread the screws loosely to hold the hinge in place. Confirm that the door is level, then tighten the screws. Reconnect the wire connector if applicable. Realign the hinge cover and secure it with the screw. When reinstalling the freezer door, slide the insulator back on the water line and insert the line into the coupler. Secure the water line in the retaining clip and replace the lower grill. With the refrigerator fully reassembled, plug the power cord back in, and your appliance should be ready for use.